Hey ladies and gents, this is Linda, FaithChick777, and today I'm coming at you with a project I have made for hopefully gaining a spot onto Cathie's design team of discount paper crafts. Now this project I made is also one that it's kind of had double duty. It's for my entry for this, as I have said, but it's also part of one of a few items I'm making for a swap I'm in. So I'm going to get my sign out of the way so we can get started. And Cathie, thank you for taking the time to take a look at my project here. Hopefully it'll kind of give you an idea of how I create and what I create, and hopefully you like it, because I love, love, love altering projects. That's like my all-time favorite. So this would be the perfect spot for me on your design team. Hint, hint. Okay, I'm going to move my sign out of the way here. I'm going to show you what I started out with. I started out with one of these. I had purchased these nesting boxes. There was 3 at Michael's. They were on clearance. It was like $3 for a set of 3 of them. You can see they kind of have the handles already built into the side. I kind of wanted to point that out to you. So let me bring in on my project. Now what I used was this smaller of the 3 boxes. So here's what I've got. Okay. And what I created, obviously, as you can see, is a box that houses a few pretty jars that can hold some of our scrapbooking things, you know, scrapbooking items. So I'm just going to kind of give you a look around it so you can see what I've done. You know, I wanted to create something that obviously is pretty to look at, but also has the added wonderful ability to, you know, hold some of like our little embellishments and stuff like that. So, first I'll kind of show you, you know, the other box already had the handles built right in. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to use some kitchen or cabinet handles for the handles because I thought it'd be funner to pick it up. And then plus, I was a little bit lazy. I didn't want to have to cut out the opening in the paper. So the paper I used was Pink Paisley London Market. And then I also used some paper from Prima's romance novel line. Okay? So let's start here with, let's go around the box. So everything on the box, all my papers, as you all know, I love to do. I distressed all the edges. I, you know, used my sewing machine, sewed around all the different pieces. Around the top of the box, I've got this beautiful kind of vintage trim. And that kind of goes around the back and on this side and around to the front. Okay, and then on the front here, what I have done is this is a wooden word from Michael's. It says love on it, and I crackled it. And then all I did was, you know, everything is shimmered down with Lindy Stamp Gang and stuff like that. So I shimmered it down with Lindy Stamp Gang. Now all the texture you see I actually did with Rub and Buff. My white Rub and Buff is a lot thicker. When I ordered a set of my Rub and Buff colors, this particular one came out really thick, so it actually is really cool for creating texture, whereas the other Rub and Buffs are more thinner like a paint. But look at the texture my Rub and Buff does. That is all just the Rub and Buff. It's really cool. So did that to my love word. On the side, these are copies of the Prima's wings that I made, and then of course I added a little bit of pink to it, and then the Rub and Buff on the texture. So there's wing here and a wing here. On the front of the love, these are little clock charms that I got from Bead Landing at Michael's. I love clocks, so I just thought it was really cute to add. And it was a heart shape. How stinking cute is that? So put that in place of the O. And then the little clock hand is also from a package of Bead Landing embellishments that I got as well. And then over here to the side, now my flowers are from Wild Orchid Crafts, the pink ones, Saw Crafters, and in these little rosebuds, let me show you what those are real quick. They're handy right here. I got these at a garage sale, and they're actually these right here, like potpourri, but it's all full of the little rosebuds. So I thought, how stinking cute is that? and they smell good. So yeah, I really like working with those. All dried out, really cute. So what I did is just kind of added some gesso. I also use gesso kind of throughout the project. So I use gesso to kind of whitewash the little rosebuds that are in here. There's a couple right here as well. And then I added Rub and Buff to the tops of the flowers. There you go. You can kind of see that really good on the black one. And then this is a Tim Holtz key. And then also added a little bit of gesso and some Rub and Buff to it. Now on my papers, on a few select of them, I've made little peekaboos and then added some lace on there. So that's kind of fun. Now on the key, I have hooked it to some black chain. So you can see that right here. And then this black chain goes up and over to the inside to this ensemble here that I've got. And I'll show you that in just a minute. I kind of wanted it all to hook together. And then underneath the ensemble and kind of to the inside of the box, I've got some black lace here. Really pretty. This is a lace I ordered from an Etsy shop. And then this lace here, beautiful, that I bunched up, that goes all into the inside of the box, all on the outside here. As you can see, this is lace that I got in a rack recently from Gisela. Beautiful lace. I love to bunch stuff up, so that's fun. Now here, as I'm coming around to the back, you can really get a look at the little peekaboo of lace down here. This lace is just lace I got from Joann's. It already has the bling on it. And then just real quick, let's go to the bottom. Let me take out my little jars because you're going to need to see the inside anyway. I wanted feet on this, but I didn't want to use, like, I tried wooden doorknobs, you know, the little cute wooden knobs. I tried wooden spools, stuff like that, but nothing really seemed to work. But what I found that I like is the little Tim Holtz photo corners. So what I did, because, you know, it makes it pretty as well, is I just kind of turned them upside down and glued that part to the bottom, and then use this part that you would normally, you know, that goes around the corners as the feet. So it gives it a little pretty, but is functional as well. So, and then here you can see the romance novel paper that I used. Okay. All right, so to the inside of the box, let me fix it all up, make it pretty. Okay, and I know it's probably going to be hard to see. But so the inside of the box is all papered, as you can see. There's the pink paisley London Market paper. You can kind of see a peekaboo down here with the lace underneath, like on the outside of the box. You can see a peekaboo coming in here. I didn't want to just decorate the outside. Now this box can actually hold 3 jars, or 4 jars, excuse me, but I made it hold 3 jars because, you know, as it sits on the desk, I wanted the person I made this for to be able to, you know, look at some pretties as well, not just have a jar full of flowers or something like that sitting in a box. So besides just decorating the outside, I wanted to make almost like a little configuration box on the inside. Okay, now you can see the lace that I used, that I showed you on the back, is all wrapped down and round into the front and kind of onto the inside of the box. This black lace that I've wrapped goes all the way in through. It's all underneath here, you know, underneath this ensemble into the back. Let's start out with, in this back part here, the back corner. This is chicken wire. I've just kind of cut it and made it fit to the inside, bent it to fit in the corner. On the outside, I've kind of rolled the edges here so you can kind of see that over the top, so it kind of goes over the top of the box. Let me go on this side so you can see. See, kind of rolled it over like this. Okay. And let's start with the centerpiece right here. Okay, this is a Tim Holtz, one of those metal frames. And then inside, I've got just a little word that says always. My lighting's good, you guys. I feel like you can't really see anything. There we go. It says always on it. It's just something I had in my stash. So, and it was a little bit pinkish, so I just kind of gessoed over the top of it. There we go. A lot of shadowing going on in here. Okay, let me try to adjust the lighting a little bit. You try to get more lighting and it just creates a shine spot. Less lighting is, you know, not good enough. Okay, so let's see what we got. All right, so back in the corner. So Tim Holtz Metal Ornate Corner. Now from the little, you know, we all know that the little Tim Holtz metal frames have little spots on either side that you can hang chain from. So what I did is this key, let's go back to the front. It hangs up over the top, okay? And then I have used a little jump ring to hook it to the chicken wire. And then over to the end piece on the frame hooked to there. Now from that piece hooks this other chain that comes down that just kind of laying in here, and I have put on there a little bead landing cute little lock that I got, little keyhole, little package of those I bought. That chain comes up to the other end of the Tim Holtz frame. Okay, and then there's some chain here. Going to be kind of hard to see, but that chain then comes up to here. I've hooked it onto the chicken wire, and then from that chain, because I wanted it to kind of be all cohesive, one unit, hangs one of these cute little fabulous bird cages that I got from a Exhibit store. Okay, so that way it'll all kind of tie in, have a few moving parts. So let's go back to the corner here. Let me move this out of the way. Now all on the bottom, as you can see, I've got little sawcraft flowers, those little rosebuds. I have wild orchid craft flowers, just all kind of nestled in along the bottom in here. In this corner, I've got, this is a little clay embellishment. I made a mold of one of those cute little angel buttons, and then I used clay to fashion my little charm there. And on it I have used like rub and buff to give it some texture and things like that. Behind it are these cute little gem sprays I love to use in my project. And then below that I have glued in one of Tim Holtz metal words that says inspire. Okay. And then we're going to come around over here, a bunch of flowers and stuff, my little keyhole nestled right in here. This is another mold that I made of the Prima windows. And then I used rub and buff and stuff on that. I just used one window. I was going to put one window on the other side, a little shutter, but I said I'm just going to go with one window. I'm going to be different. And then there's some little gem sprays nestled back in here again. Also in here nestled is, I mean, you can see some pearls coming down in here. I just kind of wound it through. Some more little flowers. Over here, this little bauble you see here is a little light bulb kind of nestled in there. On top here is another one of those little clocks from Bead Landing that I got. And then another one of those little clock hands on there. Another little rose from those roses I showed. And then this little cameo is from a mold I made of a cameo. Now as you can see, it's kind of got a pink tone to it. Let me show you. I found some new clay. It's by Sculpey. Let me grab it really quick. It's called Superculpey. Okay. It's another oven-baked clay, just like the regular white Sculpey, but it's supposed to have like a ceramic-like, if you can read it there, ceramic-like sculpturing compound, and it says shatter and chip resistant. So, and I used a coupon on it because it's pretty expensive, but let me open it and show you. It's workable to use right out of the box. But you can see it's kind of got a mauvey pink look to it already. And it is, I will say, a little bit stronger than regular clay embellishments. So let me move this box to the side here. And let me grab my little clay embellishments so that you can see the difference that I'm talking about between the clays. Okay, I've got a big bunch of clays over here. Let me move this out of the way. I've just got to show you this. So these are the normal clays we make. This is a mold I've made. And it's wonderful, but it has, and you're probably not going to be able to really see it. You might be a little bit. It has a little bit of flex to it. So it can be easily broken if it's not, you know, really secured flat on a project. But then this is the other clay I've made. And I actually think it's kind of pretty. And then on my project, I'll show you, I kind of whitewashed over it. But it doesn't have any movement. All you're seeing me move here is just my fingers. There's no movement to this. There, see that? So this is a lot stronger material. So that's kind of fun because I like to use clays because, you know, they give it like a pottery look. I'm going to start using some of that amazing mold resin here soon. You know, check that out. I think that's going to be really awesome to work with. But, you know, sometimes clays, I just want that pottery look. So I had to show you that, the difference with that clay. Again, it's called the Superculpey, and it's the ceramic-like compound. So, just a little FYI for you. So back to my project. So there's the little cameo, and you can see, let me turn it there, how I kind of whitewashed in that kind of left-hand corner there. Okay. So there's that little pretty box. So, you know, when it's sitting on her desk, she's got something to look at, something to see inside always. And then my little cabinet handles, let me show you those. These were just white. And so I took gesso over the top. I love gesso, you guys. You know, when I was seeing all of you gals working with gesso and stuff, I'm like, what's the difference with gesso? What's the big hoopla about this gesso? You know, it just looks like white paint. Well, you guys, this, I don't know. If you've not worked with gesso, it's got like this rough kind of really fine, minute sand-like quality to it. So when you paint it, it almost has a texture to it, and it dries so quick. So this handle, I mean, it was white to begin with, but just with the gesso, I mean, that is just gesso. Here is a little bit of texture with my rub and buff, but that's just gesso. And let me show you what the frame I'm working on. This frame was just a black plastic frame. Let me move this out of the way. So this is a little, one moment please, as my little design team entry also has a few, you know, look at this in here. Look at this one that I've done in here. This was a black frame. You can see it on the inside. Black plastic from Dollar Tree. And all I did was paint it with gesso. And you can see like the texture on it. Really cool. I just did a couple coats with gesso, dries really quick, used my heat iron, and then I took a paintbrush in with the gesso and I just kind of daubed it on like this to give it that kind of texture. Look at that. Look what the gesso does. About 4 coats I was done. Loving the gesso. So that's what I used. Back to my project on my handles. Now, I'm sure you guys are wondering what I used to glue my metal with, because a lot of you use the E6000 or hot glue gun. I find hot glue gun doesn't really work for me. I have a tube of E6000. I used it once. It's sitting in the drawer. I don't like the smell. It's horrible. So I found this other glue. And actually, let me get the package out for you so it looks a little prettier, so you can get a look at what it looks like. And this brand makes a lot of glues. This is Loctite. Found it in Walmart, but it's for the extreme conditions, and it says for crafts subject to outdoor conditions or heavy uses. And then look at the picture. It's showing like ceramic or slate glued to rock. So this stuff is awesome. When I put it on something, it doesn't move. You have to, once you get it on there, you kind of have to hold it just for a minute or two and then try to get it in a position where it doesn't move for about 5 minutes. You might have to do a couple of minutes of firm pressure, but after about 5 minutes, it's pretty well stuck. And then after 24 hours, it's really, the hold is phenomenal. It's just really great. So wanted to show you guys, and it says it's, you know, acid-free, wood, metal, glass, stone, tile, ceramic, fabric, leather, paper, and it works because I am glued to paper. This ain't moving. Over here, I've got it glued up and around fabric. It's not moving. Now, all my little pieces on the inside, this little angel, this window has some movement to it because I only glued it at the bottom. My Tim Holtz piece, this little bead landing piece, all used with this Loctite glue. That stuff isn't moving. And all I did was glue this. This is just glued with onto some flowers. It's not moving. See that? There's no movement to that. That is stuck. So I am really happy with this glue. I found it about a month ago and I've been using it. This cameo, all it is glued to the sides and the bottom. That's not moving. It's with that Loctite glue. I'm really liking it. So just wanted to share that with you. So anyway, back to the handles. Okay. Now the jars, I am going to, these jars that go inside, they are filled with some stuff because, you know, when I send this off to my swap person, they will have this stuff in it. Now these first jars, these were just candles from Dollar Tree, and I took the candles out. Okay, so this first jar, I've got a tag from the Romance Novel Collection. I also glued the paper onto this glass with that Loctite glue. And then I have used, this texture is all from Just My Rub and Buff. And then I took some black chain, wrapped it around twice onto the jar, and just a little bit on the chain, you can see just a little bit of whitewash gesso on it. And then I hung a Tim Holtz key. Okay, and then on the top here, just a little bit, this is also from Rub and Buff, the texture. And then inside, I've just placed some clay pieces that I've made from my molds. Okay, so there's the first one. It'll sit inside my jar. Now I'll probably have to rearrange these because these jars, there's just enough space to fit these jars in there. So my next jar. Okay, this is from the paper line Glitz. Yes. I think it's from the Glitz. Anyway, yes, they're whatnots and stuff. No, this is from the London Market. Sorry, Pink Paisley London Market package of their little, you know, 5x7 papers to use. So got that on there again with the chain. This is just a little charm. I got a big old thing of charms from, and also from Bead Landing from Michaels. A little bit of texture again. And then inside this one, and it matches the box, is a bunch of like stick pins and beads and things like that that she can make her own cute stick pins with. Greens and pinks and everything that matches the project. So there's that, set it inside. And then the last jar, this one here. A little bit of texture. And as you can see, everything's distressed and sewn just like on the box. Added chain around it. Added this cute little charm I got from Walmart, and added a bunch of little hanging chain pieces below that. Everything's all movable. A little bit of texture on the top. And then in this jar, I've put in just some cute little Wild Orchid Crafts flowers. And then those will nestle inside if I can get it. Like I said, it goes in just perfectly. You got to get it just right and just the right direction. And it will all fit. I'm telling you, it will. She's going to have a fun time trying to take these out and get them back fitting. Nah, I'm just kidding. There, see? Told you it would fit. Anyway, there is my little project. Hopefully for entry onto Cathie's design team. And hopefully my swap person will love this. This is one of 3 projects I'll be sending to her. So anywho, thanks for sharing your time with me. Again, Cathie, thanks for taking a peek at my project. And I will talk with you guys again soon. Bye.